Mark plays such a great producer back there. Look at him.
Welcome to Out of the Parx with John Marks. I'm your co-host, Sam Stafford, alongside, of course, John Marks and the one, the only Maniac Malloy. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Maniac, tell them what to do.
Like and subscribe. Do it. Do it now. Do it hard. Do it for us. Like and subscribe. John Marks' YouTube channel, Bet Parks' YouTube channel. It's that easy. Just help us out, for God's sake.
Our social medias, right? Bet Parx on Instagram. We put we put a dog question. We said, what would you name your dog, like a Philly dog nickname? And I'm still getting notifications of people commenting. This has been weeks.
Now, wait a second. What would be a really bad name for a dog after a Phillies player? Like, you wish you didn't name your dog that.
Is that what we do this week? We do the...
Well, like Carson would be the Eagles. You would regret naming your something Carson.
Imagine your kid, my buddy Kevin out there, and named his son Carson after Carson Wentz.
No, he admits that?
He did. I remember it in real time. I'm like, you're naming him after Carson? He's like, I love him. And I was like, all right, Carson's a good player, but I don't know if I'm naming my kid
That's
after
a
Carson.
violation. That's bad. That's real.
No, he says it's fine.
He says it's cool.
Yeah, he's cool.
What will be the worst one?
I don't know. I guess it depends. Like,
Danny Tarnable.
Rod Barajas.
Barajas is a bad one.
Barajas would be a great name for a dog, actually, though, at the same time. Like bulldog.
Yeah, it would have to be short-legged, fat.
Sal Fasano. That would be a tough name for a dog, though.
Would be. Doesn't roll off your tongue like Barajas.
Nah, Barajas. Come here, Barajas.
yeah,
right.
that's a tough one.
Sorry, Sam.
No, you're fine. We're basically going to have the same show that we always have, guys, because Ranger Suarez just keeps going. He now moves to 9-0 after last night's win over the Rangers. Drops his ERA to 1.36. He had a stat line of 5 hits, 1 earned run, tied his strikeout high of 10 in 7 innings. So he just keeps on going, and he's the only pitcher to ever go undefeated with a sub 1.5 ERA and 65 or more strikeouts in his first 10 appearances.
Wow, yeah, I heard Grover Cleveland Alexander's name brought up again last night.
Mm-hmm. Old Hoss, they bring out Radbourne. Old Hoss Radbourne.
It is unbelievable, and he goes out there, and it's literally every start that he's going out there and he's giving you at least an above average performance. That's what he had last night. Got in some early trouble, was able to wiggle out of it. At 10 strikeouts. This is a guy that doesn't throw 97, 98 miles an hour. He's got good velocity, but he wins because he knows how to pitch and he confuses the batters. I heard Ruben Amaro talking about it on the postgame last night where mid-game he changed up everything he was doing. Like not a change up, but you know what I mean? Like he is pitching backwards, as they like to say in baseball, and it's working. Ranger Suarez is the best pitcher in baseball. And it feels like every week, guys, we bring up his Cy Young odds. Mm-hmm. 4 weeks ago, it was like 2,500.
Plus 5. It was, plus 2,500 about 4 weeks ago. Before that, plus 5,000.
Yes, to start
That's
the season.
Right. It
started off the season at plus 5,000. If you're out there and you're holding $100 to win ticket for NL Cy Young on Ranger Suarez, I need to hear from you.
We need to see the visual evidence of it, yes.
Yeah.
We could check that. We'll have to get back to the folks on those numbers there.
Well, just to your point, John, so he started the season at plus 5,000. Then he moved to plus 2,500. And each time that we talked, it just kept cutting it. Now he is at plus 400. Him and Zach Wheeler are the 1 and 2 favorites for the Cy Young, which is absolutely insane, especially because Rangers are number 3.
Yeah, when asked before the season what I thought of the Phillies' chances to win the division or win the World Series, once you get to the playoffs, as we've learned the last couple of years, anything can happen. But as far as the regular season, I'm like, they're not winning 100 games. They can't compete with the Braves. The way that they could do that is you get more than one starting pitcher that's pitching at a Cy Young level. Right now, the Phillies have 2 Cy Young award-winning type pitchers in Ranger Suarez and Zach Wheeler, and Ranger would win it right now. Nola's pitched above average. He's pitched probably better than I thought maybe he was going to. And Chris Sanchez, I was thinking about this the other night with Chris Sanchez. He's your 4th starter, and he's up there throwing the ball 95, 96 miles an hour, has a great changeup. And this was a guy that was almost an afterthought when you talked about the rotation. Taijuan Walker, he's been okay. You have another, I remember his name right now. Turnbull, Spencer Turnbull, that also can be used as a starter. And we saw how he excelled as a starter. This team is unbelievable right now. I mean, they're last 33 games, they're 27-6 of their last 33 games. So they've started fast. They've got even hotter, and they're playing better than I've ever seen any Phillies team play ever.
Well, and
Are they going to be one of the greatest teams of all time? They're on pace to win 116 games. That's the all-time record for the most won games in a regular season by MLB teams. 116 games.
The
by
Mariners,
Seattle Mariners, 2001,
and they lost. They didn't. I don't know if it was the ALCS, but I remember they didn't win. Jamie Moyer was on that team. That was Edgar Martinez. They had a lot of talent on that team. If they would have to win the World Series, and then you could say it. But right now the record's 102 by the Phillies back in 2011, and that was a really good team. That was a really, really good team.
Yeah, but I don't even.
But they lost. So no
off
one
2 World Series appearances, right? That team, for me, that they're not as high up there as the greatest teams to have ever put on the
2011 or right now?
The 2011 team. Like, I don't think they're anywhere close to 08 or 09, right?
Oh, I mean, like,
were they a better?
Theirs was their starting rotation. That's why they got so much clout, because they had that good base, and then you brought in this starting rotation that was just lights out. So on paper, they seemed like they had everything.
The early Phillies teams, the offenses were better. You had a younger Ryan Howard. You had a younger Chase Utley. You had younger offensive players. Jimmy Rollins was coming off of winning an MVP. Ryan Howard was coming off winning an MVP.
So say they set the record. Go ahead.
No, 2009. Like, if you look at the 2008 team, look at their starting rotation. It wasn't very good. Like, it was fine. Cole Hamels was good. Jamie Moore is throwing the ball 80 miles an hour. Kyle Kendrick was eating up innings, right? But like sometimes you get fortunate with
Joe Blanton,
with who you're facing. Yeah, Joe Blanton. But like that was a great team. They won 92 games during the regular season, but they also faced the Rays in the World Series. While they were a good team, you look at the Phillies that won 102 games. They were a monster team, but they caught the Cardinals in a short series, and Cliff Lee came up small in that one game.
So you guys, that brings me to my point where, yes, like, it's fun. They're on pace to set records and all this fun stuff. And that's also that's awesome if they can do that. And it's always obviously a positive note, but everybody knows you want to win a World Series, and it's all about who gets hot at the right time. And we mentioned before we started going live here that the Phillies are definitely going to hit a bit of a slump here. And it's nice
at some point.
But what's nice about it is they got hot so early. They have enough time. They can afford to hit a slump and get hot at the right time at end of August, going into September and October and all of that. So there's still a lot of time for this team. They possibly could set the record still, even with a slump.
They're 35-14. They have a 6-game lead over the Atlanta Braves already. And it's not like the Braves aren't playing well. The Braves are 9 games over 500. So this team, for anybody that thinks this team is just hot, they're not playing anybody. The teams that they're playing, wait till they face a tougher schedule in the second half. Yeah, I agree. It's not going to be as easy as it's been so far for the Phillies. Sam said it, and she's right. Like, at some point, you're going to get into a little bit of a lull. Maybe there's some injuries or whatever, but this team is deep, and the rotation's deep. As long as you have your top 3 or 4 starters, you can have, they can have an injury in the rotation right now. It's not going to really kill them. And you've seen in previous years where they've lost a starting pitcher or two, and it's killed the team because they don't have any depth behind them. Mm-hmm. This team has depth behind them.
The Phillies are, I have to remind people, the Phillies are 33-12 against teams 500 or better this season. They're 1-2 against teams 500 or better. 500 or worse, they're 33-12. 500 and better, they're 1-2.
They've played 3 games against teams with 500 record or better.
Well, so also you have to go back and look at that, because it could have just been when they were playing them. Because right now, technically today, we're playing a Rangers team that's 500 or worse, because we just beat them yesterday and made them 500,
Same with the Nats, same with the Mets.
Yeah, exactly.
They smoked them, and that's in large part.
So a lot of people use that stat, unless it's like a blow away, like way under 500. I don't really count those. It's tough. You have to go back and really look.
The Padres are a game under 500. But to your point, like, no one's going to dispute that they haven't faced the toughest teams in the league. But if you play this high level of baseball against these other teams, the problem with the Phillies in previous years was they couldn't always beat these other teams. They're coming out and they're smashing these teams. I'm just saying this, like, we can debate one of the best teams in history or whatever, and maybe this is recency bias, but This is the most fun I've had watching Phillies baseball. Maybe since 1993. I like
Regular season, right?
Regular season. Like 2011 was really fun. And it was the aces and everything else. I don't remember it being this fun. Every game being this fun. Because like Doc was supposed to be unbelievable. Cliff Lee was a former Cy Young winner as well. Like Roy Oswalt. Like these guys are fun. You know, like
And it's May.
It's May. Ranger Suarez is going out there. He's got a fan group. I saw Pat out there last night, the Power Rangers. So yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know, but there's just something refreshing about this. And the other Phillies teams, did they universally love the fans? Right? Like Jimmy and the fans were kind of like, the fans were mean to Ryan Howard. I'm not blaming Ryan Howard for that, but you know what I mean? Like there seems to be this love affair between the city and the team.
Yeah.
That's not like anything I've seen before.
This is true. Now, say they set the record for the most wins in a Philadelphia Phillies regular season. The number sits at 102. I think they're on pace to win 116 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, something.
If they
insane like
set
that.
the record, but they fall short of the World Series, where do they fall?
Well, then it doesn't count. That's like the
Below the
20
World
count.
Series team. Below
Well, then the
World Series.
2011 team didn't.
Well, that's what we just said. Nobody remembers that.
Yeah, no, I mean, agreed that you can't put them above any championship team, but I can put them above. I mean, I don't know, a team that made the San Francisco Giants, the Giants loss in the NLCS.
Yeah.
And that was a tough one too. The Phillies win the World Series if they win that series. And the
Yeah.
Giants were just playing great at like the right moment.
Ross.
Yeah, Cody Ross. Like, can't you still see his face? Like
Yeah.
that freaking face. And Pat the Bats, like giving
He's
it
a punch.
finger.
He's a hate to face.
Oh man,
He's a hate to face.
you love him if he's on your team. And there was that weird thing with Pat Burrell where they were like, he was the machine and Pat's wearing a gimp mask. And like, I don't know what was going on. That was a weird team. But there are the teams that win, the teams that have those that unbelievable
weirdos.
chemistry.
Mhm.
The good weirdos.
Well, and we even saw
They
the
have 'em.
chemistry.
They have them.
Yeah, the chemistry is what carried them in the postseason the last 2 years. They didn't have the best teams by like any means in the postseason the last couple years, and that's what carried them. So the fact that they have so much talent now, they're really rolling, and they do have so much depth is what's so encouraging.
Yeah, it's not just that we love the team and they have great chemistry. Give me the weakness of this team. Like, sir,
Nick Castellanos.
Nick Castellanos at right
Weakness of
field,
the
right?
team.
And that's a good
He's
weakness
the
to
absolute
have.
weakness of the team.
I think that's a great weakness to have.
You are
because
the weakest link, Nick.
because he picks it up when you need him to for the most
Right.
part. So I think that's a great
When he
weakness to have.
gets
Didn't
hot.
look too good in the NLCS last year.
Nobody did. What Bryce
he
went
looked
up in there a couple times and he
They
didn't hit
pitched
the home
around
run
him
in
to
the big
get down
spots.
the face Castellanos. They wouldn't.
Yeah, but that entire lineup was
They fell off.
Arizona made the adjustment. They said, we're not going to throw him fastballs, and they were swinging at everything.
Nick
But
was
yeah,
a god in the NLDS, and then he turned to a.
he
joke
had historic
in the
numbers.
NLCS.
Yeah.
Historic.
Are you
numbers.
worried about him, John Marks?
No.
You're not worried about Nicky
Do
Castellanos?
I think he could suck for the rest of the year? Yes, I think he could suck for the rest of the
the
year. But
entire
you know
year
what?
and the playoffs?
Yeah, he could. But you know what? He's not going to be seeing the field if that's the case.
You
Right.
think they'll bench him?
I think they'll start platooning him. If you get to July and August and September, they're not putting him out there to put him out there if he's got a repeated hole in the swing and he's hurting the team.
Just throw a slider low and away. I
Right.
think he's just.
I also
He's a guy that I literally think the way he hits is he's like, I'm just going to look for a slider that's hanging and I'm just going to have my bat run into it. And if I hit it, it's going. If I swing and miss, oh well.
You guys, I want to know if you agree with me on this. I kind of get that vibe from Costi that if he was a big hole in this team, that he would be fine and would opt for himself to be like, hey, give me a break, put somebody in there that's going to help this team. I get that vibe from him. I don't think he's going
Should
to
be
just
fine
be,
for what is he getting?
Yeah, but there's a
20,
lot of guys
25.
out. There's a lot of players out there that would be like, oh no, I need to play. It's not my fault. Like, look at Taijuan Walker last year. Taijuan Walker was mad because he wasn't in the rotation. Is there anybody that watches baseball that thought Taijuan Walker should have been in a postseason rotation last year? You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't that bad, but it was the right move to make. I'm not even worried about that. Literally, I have no worries about this team right now. For the first time in a really long time, I'm not going to worry about anything. And when the Phillies aren't playing at night, I'm sad because I enjoy watching them so much. So they had the night off on Monday night. Now they have a day off next week too. So I'm going to enjoy it. Phillies fans are enjoying this. It's an amazing run so far.
Yeah, last week after we got done filming, because they had the day game right on Wednesday, and then they were off Thursday. Our producer Mark and I were like, "What do? We have no Phillies tonight. We have no Phillies tomorrow. Like that? What?" But so it is fun, and you look forward to it, and that's what's so crazy about it. It's May.
I'm really looking forward to getting down to the ballpark tomorrow afternoon, 1 o'clock game. Yep. We're going to be there to see the champs, the world champ.
Oh, you're going down tomorrow.
We're going to be there, 1 o'clock game. Very interested to see the crowd turnout. 41,000 last night.
Oh, it's going to be.
That's pretty sick.
But what I would say to Phillies fans out there, don't wait to get tickets, because once the kids are out of school, and that's in 2 weeks, they'll be gobbled up. This will be the hottest ticket in town.
Well,
Did you see Matt? Do you have the video of Bryce Harper talking about the fans last night? They were talking about Thompson too. They were like saying just how much that.
Oh my God!
Well,
what it means to them.
When
Bryce, it was pretty cool.
When Bryce hit a grand slam a couple weeks ago, it was a Tuesday and it was a packed house. And I mean, yesterday was a Tuesday as well then. But yeah,
day game tomorrow, little day drinking. We doing a little day drinking.
I don't know. I feel like tomorrow might be big with kids anyway, right? Because it's field trip time. It's May. It's end of the school year.
Day before Memorial Day weekend too, so that's tough.
Yeah.
A lot of kids are doing half days actually on Thursday.
No, I mean,
fun fact.
It's gonna be hot tomorrow. So for every 3 beers you drink a bottle of water or something.
Well, guys, I want to know this too while they wait for that. So you talked about the Power Rangers, and then Lone Ranger is another nickname for Ranger Suarez. We also have Ranger Danger. So there's because obviously for good reason, he's the headlines everywhere right now. So he's got so many nicknames. What are some of the best names ever in baseball? I don't know if you guys want to do it MLB or just Phillies.
Let's do both.
But okay, so let's do, what are the biggest names in MLB ever? I think obviously Babe Ruth is number one because he's got a bajillion.
Wait, what
the most. Babe we're talking about best nicknames ever.
So what are the best nicknames in Phillies history and in baseball history? Your favorites, I guess you could say, right? Not only the best, but your favorites.
I would say, can I give my two?
Yeah, go ahead.
Kruk. His nickname Crucky is a great nickname. Solid, to the point, really, really good. And then Nails for Lenny Dykstra. Nails. I like that nickname.
Does Crucky count?
That's one that's always stuck to me.
That's terrible answers. Right off.
Nails,
terrible answers.
And Crucky.
I wouldn't
but he's the dude. I know that.
The dude too. Yeah, okay.
I know that he was Nails, but the teammates called him dude. Like I hosted.
Dude. Yeah,
I hosted a baseball show.
Even better.
Dude is a good one. I hate Lenny Dykstra.
The dude
with a passion. Dude is a great nickname for sure.
I think Chooch is a great one because that's one of the ones where you don't even realize that's not his name. Like I feel like 75% of Philadelphia thinks his name is actually Chooch, and it's not. It's Carlos Ruiz, obviously. You have the big piece.
Yeah, to your point, like you can call him the big piece, but you don't use that as his name.
No,
say Ryan.
Yeah.
Big piece is lame compared to Nails and the dude.
But Chooch, to your point,
what did the big piece do compared to Nails?
Well, Nails was all steroided up in 90.
But that's what I'm saying. So there's
still
no
great
competition.
Nickname. That's not, it's about cooler nickname. What one is cooler, Sam?
So Chooch is
the dude or the big piece?
Philly's nickname.
Chooch is
because
it's
used to call.
Big piece.
You don't need any other name. You have the big piece. You call him Ryan Howard. You don't.
True.
No, but it's still a good nickname.
Yep.
But the Flying Hawaiian
is
from that team is a great one.
Great one.
The Flying Hawaiian.
Great one.
And Whitey for Richie Ashburn.
Okay, yeah.
Because everybody called him Whitey.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the ones that I wrote down.
Honorable mentions. You got the Wild Thing, right?
Wild Thing's a great one.
Yep.
Wild Thing's a great one.
But I also kind of feel like that doesn't count. You stole that from a movie, right? It was around that time.
It was stolen from the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
You're exactly right. And
so
he was that wild.
Yeah. And then so then if you move to MLB, obviously you have Babe Ruth. When I was looking this up, his name is actually George. I did not know that.
Finn just did a book report on George Herman Ruth.
Oh, that's actually really cool. So, fun fact, I had a blog in college called The Great Blonde Beano, and it was actually really cool, and I was proud of myself. But the amount of people that thought it said Blonde Bimbo didn't work out in my
that's
case.
Not why you did it that way?
No, but The Great Blonde Beano. That is why
Good
it ended.
grade.
Yes.
One.
Oh.
That is funny.
So
That's good.
it got me a good grade, but yeah, it didn't last
It's
long.
one of these things where you say it and it's like, that's awesome.
Yes.
But then you don't realize that other people are looking at it differently.
Yeah.
I can think of a couple instances where you write something that
Yeah.
looks different to yourself.
And then obviously MLB, you got the kid.
Ken Griffey Jr.
Yep.
is a great.
You got Mr. October.
Mr. October's got to be considered an all-timer for
Yeah.
Reggie Jackson. And then the contrary to that
Cheltenham
is from Cheltenham High School. He graduated with my friend's dad. And then George Steinbrenner called Dave Winfield Mr. May because he never showed up in the playoffs, but he always hit well in May. Now, Dave didn't appreciate that.
Yeah, I bet, but that's a funny one. Big Poppy is a good one.
Big Poppy's a great one.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you don't need to call him David Ortiz.
No.
You can just call him
Yep.
Big Poppy, and that's what makes it good. I also had another Phillies one that is, I would say it's random, but I loved it. The Vanimal, Vance Worley.
Vance Warren.
Vance Worley was good for like a third of a season.
I was
You
gonna
know
say, I
what-
didn't know Vanimal.
I have a funny one. So, Vinny Velo. Vinny Velo.
Oh my
yeah.
God.
Vinny Velo.
Vinny Velo.
Every time I see a kid on the baseball diamond when I'm coaching, if their name is Vince,
You
They
think
are-
of Vince Velasquez?
the rest of the season, they're Vinny Velo.
That's a
No
good one.
matter
'cause it
what.
was
Hey,
a-
let's go, Vinny Velo. You know,
God, he
Rolls
drove
off.
me crazy.
they
Yeah.
don't know I'm kind of making fun of them, I guess, the kids.
No, yeah.
It's a
no.
fun one to say.
Now they know. It's out.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Charlie Hustle, Pete Rose.
Charlie Hustle's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to see the Bryce clip of
Shoeless
him
Joe
talking about
Jackson.
the players. I mean, the
Fans,
fans at the
Bryce.
game. It's pretty cool. I thought this was good. I
They're
think
all
this is
banged up. I give
they
them the
got
other
right.
defending champions. This is one a little sweeter because of the fact that they took some
Thank you.
shots at you and you guys kept answering back.
No, I mean it's a good team over there. I don't think we really
Charlie
care who's coming in. Really, I mean we just want to win games. Just play our game and worry about ourselves as much as possible. Obviously, it's world champs, and they're reigning. So you think about it, but at the same time, we're just going to try to play our game and worry about what we can control in here, and that we did that tonight.
With as excellent as Ranger has been, are you almost running out of superlatives to talk about what he's been doing this season?
We are.
No, I mean starting pitching has been great. Anytime we're able to, have the confidence and ability to a guy to go out there and do his job, just raises the confidence level of his team as well, and our offense as well. So we know on any given night, one of our starters can go out there and do their job, and we're going to do the best we can as an offense to help him out and get him the runs that they need or get them the runs that they need. And thought we were able to do that. And bullpen came in and threw the ball well and was able to get the win.
Bryce is such a big fan of the history of the game. How special is it that the Rangers have pitched for them 9 in a row since 1910?
It's incredible. You applaud him, right? He goes out there each night or every fifth day, and he does his job, man. He works hard, and
Yeah, we can come away.
he knows what it takes to win games, and he knows how to pitch and really keep teams off balance. I think you guys saw that tonight, both sides of the plate. And JT calls a great game as well. So I think it all works together pretty well.
And the
Right.
last game in the fifth, and so
Where's
that's
that
win
hat?
for him tonight. You provide the insurance for the home run. How'd that feel to be able to do that and get a little breathing room for him?
Yeah, obviously, I mean, as a team, we're thinking about that, right? I mean, any given night, for a guy to be able to go out there and be 9-0, we wanted to get to 10-0 and 11-0 and so forth. So we're just going to go out there and like I said, be the best offense we can. And obviously, when our starting pitching is doing that, we have all the confidence in the world, in their ability to do that. And like I said, it just raises our confidence as an offense.
Obviously, unrelated to the game tonight, but how cool was it to be part of that promposal last night?
Yeah, just helping my brother out, man. It's good.
You're really hitting the ball hard, especially the last couple of days. What's going right at the plate for you?
Just got to continue to swing strikes. I think I find value in that. So if I can continue to do that, then I'll be right where I want to be.
So you heard it. Both sides of the ball really performing. And he's right. Obviously, Bryce is right. He knows baseball even way better than we do. But yeah, when you don't have to worry about the other side of the ball, you get to just do what you want to do. The team's going to perform.
Yeah. During the at bat, for whatever reason, I was like, man, he looks so locked in. He's going to hit a home run. And that was a great at bat. He got it to 3-2, and then he just smoked that ball. Man, he's having another one of these years, right? You got 11 home runs now. He's fourth in home runs, or I think he was fourth entering the game last night. So he is giving them like they don't need Bryce to carry the team right now, which is what's great. When he gets hot, the offense is great, but starting pitching's carrying this team. On the nights the starters aren't great, they're able to come from behind. They come from behind and win games. Right? The Cody Clemens, who I know we're going to talk about in a second. That game, I was so tired, and I was trying to watch the end of the game. I had the remote in my hand, ready to hit the power so I could go to sleep. And he hits a home run and ties the game, and now it's going to extra innings. So it's like, and that's what this team is. That team has that intangible thing that you're looking for. That's like, wow, this team's special.
Well, and that's exactly what we were talking about earlier, even with Nick Castellanos, to Pat's point, is he doesn't have to be on all the time.
Hasn't hurt the team.
It doesn't hurt the team because it's so loaded in this lineup right now that somebody's going to pick it up. And it's also weird as Philadelphians to not stress about that because somebody's going to pick it up. And that's what's weird about it. I brought this up to you earlier, John. So the last time the Phillies had two infielders to make an all-star game the same season was in 2009 with Chase Utley and Ryan Howard. And this year, you talked about Bryce, how he's doing well. He's the leading first baseman in WAR right now. So you got to think that he's going to be up there in all-star voting. Alec Boehm, obviously, we've been talking about it for weeks now that he needs to be in the all-star game. He's one of the best third basemen in the league. Bryson Stott, the last 20 games, I think is hitting like over 380. So he's heating up. You have so many guys in this infield. Do we think that we're going to see a whole bunch of all-stars coming out of this team?
You can have starters at first and third base.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, Bryce Harper's one of the biggest stars in baseball, and his number. When you have a team that has as many wins as the Phillies do, a lot of times you're getting, we're going to have another Phillies player. We're going to have another Phillies reserve. I don't know what the ballots are going to look like or how they even select that by now, but you're going to have at least two starting pitchers. You're going to have first base. You're going to have third base. Stock could be added as an alternate. I don't know what the numbers of second baseman look like right now, but yeah, I mean the Phillies are a really, really good team. The Phillies are a really, really good team, and I don't care who they've been playing. They're unbelievable right now.
And then to your point as well, you already mentioned Cody Clemens. This infield, we're talking about how great it is, and they don't even have Trey Turner in, which is insane, and they just kind of not even skipped a beat. But then Cody Clemens has been a huge, huge part of that. You mentioned his game-tying home run on Saturday in the 9th. Like, it's just absolutely insane what this guy's doing. And Trey Turner, we just keep seeing videos of him progressing. He's coming back faster. He's coming back sooner. There's no way that they can send Cody Clemens down, right? So what does this team do? What's going to be the move when Trey comes back?
I mean, there may be a way that they send them down. I mean, it would seem almost
he has options.
Inconceivable. Yeah. So without getting in the weeds too much, he's signed to the Phillies 40-man roster, so they can send him to AAA and they don't risk losing him. He has to go down to AAA. But here's what you ask. Do you have enough defense in the outfield to where you can send Pache down and you're going to keep Cody Clemens? Because you need a backup center fielder, and that could be Brandon Marsh, right? You have enough in the outfield defensively to where you can keep them. I don't know how they're going to do it or what they're going to do. I don't think it's a lock that he stays, and there still is time he could go cold. But I mean, I wouldn't be able to send him down to the minors.
Yeah.
I mean, here's part of the problem. And this is my problem with analytics is you can say, oh, well, look at the numbers, but do the numbers gauge how clutch a player is? Or a double isn't just a double. A double when you're down 5 runs in the 8th inning isn't the same significance as a double when there's an out in the 8th inning and you're behind a run, right? So where they get the hit matters. And why does it feel like Cody Clemens, almost every time he's getting an extra base hitter, he's getting a hit, it's in a big spot late in the game?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I don't think you can send him down. Like we said, it's possible that they still do because he does have options. So it is team friendly for that option. But I think you have to choose between Pache and Rojas, which would most likely be Pache, right, Pat?
It would be Pache.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what you do.
If you decided you're going to keep him without an injury, there's no other player that's being sent down other than probably Pache. I would think that he would be the guy.
Ruben Amaro Jr. did have a fun little theory that he said you don't have to keep 13 and 13 on a 26-man roster. So he was like, you could
send a reliever down.
Yeah.
Jose Ruiz is my candidate.
Yeah, you could. No,
send Jose Ruiz down, keep Cody around for a little bit longer, see if he can help their ball club.
I don't know what it is across the Major League Baseball, but I'm pretty sure. I know the Phillies like to go. They like to keep the extra reliever as opposed to having the extra position player, just because especially with relievers and how they use them in modern day baseball. So, but listen, your team's better. Is your team better with Cody Clemens or Christian Pache? Right? Like, are the Phillies a better team with Pache or with Cody Clemens? And the impact has been Cody Clemens. He's made the impact this year. So we'll see. It's definitely fun to think ahead, to be like, wow, this guy was in AAA not that long ago. And the last time he was up before they sent him back down to AAA, he had a home run. He came up in Bryce's paternity. So it's a tough decision. It just goes to show you how good this team is. They don't have holes anywhere, and they're AAA. Derek Hall, who had almost 20 home runs in the majors a couple years ago, he's got no shot of coming up here.
Which is crazy. We talked about it before. Cody Clemens could be a starter easily on another MLB team. And here we're debating if he even is going to stay on the roster. It's crazy. That's how loaded this team is, and that's why it's so fun.
The Phillies are plus 800 to win the World Series.
Where is that rank them?
Plus 400 to win the NLCS, and plus 110 currently to win the NL East.
And of course, this is on the Bet Parx.
This is on Bet Parx. Plus 800,
dude.
Plus 400.
Maniac. It was 2 or 3 weeks ago that the Braves were still heavy favorites to win the NL East.
And they are
heavy favorites to win the NL.
And they still are. Still minus 200. They're the favorite for sure. Down 6
Which is
games.
interesting. Yeah.
A lot of games to play.
A lot of games to play, but also I don't know.
Phillies aren't going to. The way, unless Ranger
down 6 games,
whatever the hell he's got going on right now, right? Unless there's an injury or something. I don't know how this team doesn't. I'm not telling you they're gonna be playing at a 7-14 clip like they're doing right now, but I don't know how this team just regresses so bad that they're not. If this team doesn't win 97 or 98 games, they've collapsed in the second half of the season.
Yeah. What if Atlanta is playing a little reverse psychology on us, guys?
They do. Well, what will their excuse be this time if they don't have the 5 days rest for winning the NL
they're
East
gonna
and having the number 1
they
overall
think
seed?
that the
What will
Phillies
be
have
their
had the
excuse
advantage.
then?
So they're going and they're saying, Phillies, take it. You get the break, and we're going to come out and we beat you. And if that happens, that would be something. Huh.
It could be.
So Dodgers, as we're looking right here on Bet Parx, Dodgers, Braves, Phillies. So they're really in the pecking order, third in the National League.
Yeah.
Houston, who is many games below 500 at this point, they're still looked at as turning their season around.
Yeah, so they're heating up. They've won 10 out of their last 13. They were one of the walk-offs last night. There were 3 walk-offs last night, which is an exciting Tuesday.
And the Braves lost on a walk-off again. They blew, I think they had a 5-run lead against San Diego on Sunday, and they blew that. So, but I'm telling you, I read a lot of baseball Instagram and baseball Twitter, mostly baseball Instagram, and a lot of the fan comments from the Braves are, what did all those regular season wins give us the last few years? An exit by the Phillies, so they're not sweating it right now.
Yeah,
they're a good enough team to make the playoffs. Now, can they turn the tables and say we don't care about the regular season anymore?
They don't have the chemistry that the Phillies have, and that's a big piece, so they can have the roster. We've seen them have the roster without the injuries that they're playing with this year. So everything's coming together, guys. But Maniac, tell them what to do.
Like and subscribe. Bet Parx YouTube, John Marks' YouTube channel. Do it for us, and do it for us quick.
Yeah,
and Bet Parx Instagram, go tell us what your dog's Phillies dog name is right there. A lot of chooches.
Or your favorite nicknames, because we're probably going to post that one because that's an interesting one.
And we're giving away $15,000 in bonus bets, by the way.
Oh yeah, we didn't even hit
10,000. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Sorry, 15 for 15, 10 for 15. That's what it is. $10,000 in bonus bets will be coming to some lucky users' ways. And we just hit 15,000 followers this morning, John.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're moving on up.
Nice. Yeah.
It's one of those ones you're popping with the hand.
Where are the balloons? Don't you have to hold 2 balloons, a 1 and a 5?
Oh, you're right. We should have. But we'll get back into baseball, guys, and we're going to preview. We'll talk about what's happening around the league and talk about the game tonight. But let's just take a little break real quick. So Memorial Day, obviously known as a big baseball time of year because it's going in the summer, America's pastime. You got hot dogs, you got sun. It's beautiful. What do you guys like to do for Memorial Day?
Is Nathan's Memorial Day weekend the Nathan's hot dog eating contest, or is that Labor? Was that 4th of July? That's 4th of July.
Yeah,
that's
4th of July.
All right, I knew it was one of the holidays. I'm doing nothing this year. This is the first year. In previous years, I used to do the Pete from Chickies and Pete's. He at 5 o'clock he starts paying for all the tolls on the.
Yeah, he is doing it again this year.
He does it every year. It's his favorite thing to do. So we'd be broadcasting from the Farley Plaza, and then normally I'd be down the shore somewhere, and I would just commute down the shore after that. So I'm not actually doing anything, but I love summer. I love the pool. I love the beach. I love the ocean. I love being outside. So I think actually there's some parents, kids, and the kids that are coming over this weekend on Sunday for a little impromptu barbecue, and maybe the water bounce house gets taken out of the shed.
That's gonna be nice. Yeah, I'm looking
the water bounce house. That's
I'm
a
looking
good
it up
move.
right now.
That's a veteran move. That's a vet move.
Yeah, it
It's in the
kills the
80s.
lawn. Yeah,
Yeah,
kills the
it does.
lawn. Yep, that's good too. You don't have
It's
to
in
cut
the
it.
80s all weekend long. There's a little cloud Saturday, Sunday, chance of rain Monday, but in the 80s, that's all I need, guys. I love the sun.
I'm going to
love
be
the
coaching.
summer.
I'm going to be on the field.
Baseball's perfectly
You
good
know,
answer.
the Mariner Magic, we pulled off the perfect season last night. Playoffs will be starting up. The Lenape Valley Tomahawks, they are coming on strong too as we make a push in the suburban travel baseball.
All right, so here's
playoffs. There you go.
Here's the
All you
bounce
need is
house.
that. All you need is that in
It's
the
the
standard
one.
barbecue.
It's third row down. The exact one that I have is not that third row down. It's like a castle. You can see it. It says Joy
Oh, that one?
DAAS inflatable. Yeah, it's similar to that. Yes, it was a Facebook Marketplace purchase. We paid $50 for it.
Wow, that's a great deal.
And we've used it for this is probably the 4th summer that we've used it. And I've had to patch it up a couple times because it does rip, but the patches do work and the kids love it. Now, the downside is it's very difficult to clean up and it kills the grass underneath it if you don't.
Any major injuries?
No. There's been some burns from if there's not enough water in the particular slide. So what it is, they have the water that's on top of that goes down on the slide and it comes from the top. So that's what makes it where you slide all the way down and you don't get the burn.
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But sometimes there's just not enough water and the kids get the burn. Now I don't go on the slide. So
now I got one
Squash.
for you this
I
weekend.
would.
If you're looking for something to squeeze in, the Devon Horse Show. Devon Horse Show, ever been to that?
I've been to
I've
the
heard
Devon
of it.
Horse Show. I've never actually been to the horse show, but I've been to the grounds of the horse
And
show.
walked around while they were
I've seen
having
it.
a show.
No.
No.
No, I was there for another event a few times, but I know what
horses
you're talking
or
about.
no?
Without horses, with dogs, believe it or not.
Wow, it always comes back to dogs with you, Mark. See,
It does?
Yeah, you're all about
Naming,
this post,
yeah.
naming your dog. What
There it is.
There it is.
Yeah, no, it's all about my mother because my parents they breed dogs and they right now probably have 15 dogs at their house, including puppies.
Oh, wow.
So that's why I was there. It was some type of a dog show.
What type of dog?
It's a West Highland White Terrier.
Oh, I think you told us that before.
The little white dogs, as a lot of people like to call them.
The little white
The
dog.
little white dog. So yes, my life always revolved, and that's why I probably don't have a dog today because I like not having dogs. It's a nice break. I have kids.
I'll tell you what,
Same.
Devon Horse Show, chef's kiss.
Why is it so good?
It's just
It's equestrian, right?
It's funny as hell. There's people, they get all dressed up. It's a billion degrees out. They have these old carriages and they get all dressed up and they parade out into the center and the most beautiful horses you could ever imagine seeing. And they show them and they think
They're
they're
the show
all
horses.
hoity-toity. There's all these, you can go get a lobster roll, while you're
This isn't like
grounds,
Uncle Heavy that they're
No, this isn't
they're
like downstairs.
giving them Lasix before a race.
No, it ain't the same mixed bag there. This is a little.
It's a different
If
clientele.
you want to feel a little high class, you hit the Devon Horse Show.
What do you
Get yourself a lobster roll.
I like the people that do pumpkins.
That's out near you.
It is kind of out by me. But yeah, I would like the people that like the pumpkin shows and the veggie shows where the pumpkin's bigger than me. and
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
your
yeah.
Devon Horse Show. See, look, it's very. I hope you could see the people. They dress up in the old.
Oh yeah, that looks
clothing.
like a barrel of laughs.
And then they're so hot, but they're riding on the backs of these carriages for the carriage shows. That's when you want to go. That's this weekend, the carriage shows. They show off these antique carriages.
Are you really going?
I might squeeze it in before some games.
Okay.
No, we got 3 days of friggin' baseball. I'll be coached out. Coach Maniac, dude.
It's a good time right there.
Currently right now, no, not to brag, but my career as a coach is this season 19-2 record.
Wow.
19-2 record. Just saying.
Off to a good start.
This is your first year coaching?
Kid pitch. Yeah.
Okay, wow. All right.
Kid pitch. First year kid pitch coaching. So real shit.
Yeah, the real stuff.
Real shit. 19-2. Just saying.
I can't
Just
say I'm
saying.
any better because I have not coached. So
Just
I like
saying.
it. I like it. Moving on though, we also have Eagles OTAs starting today. And the news coming out so far is James Bradbury has not shown up. And that's kind of been a question mark on this offseason with them getting so many high profile corners back to back in the draft. And then they also, I think, signed another corner recently. So that's interesting to see. I don't think anybody's going to be sad, but it's interesting.
I've heard from pretty much towards the end of the season that there's be a chance that he's not on the team. And Howie Roseman has said all the right things as far as, he's working really hard and he's coming back, whatever. That doesn't mean that he's coming back. I mean, at this point, this is how the Eagles actually got James Bradbury. He was a post-June 1st cut. So the Giants got rid of him late and free agency had pretty much already been over. So the Eagles got a really good deal because people had already spent their money. I don't know if that's going to be the case here, but I don't know. I mean, something's fishy. He's obviously not happy.
Yeah.
He's not at the OTAs. I'll be curious to hear what the coaches have to say about it. But
he'll be getting traded in that June period of time, right? Because I think you avoid a lot of.
I don't know if
cap hit, right?
Yeah, I don't know if you save money with it or not.
I think you save a pretty nice chunk.
The problem with trading him is you're trading the existing contract, and there's nobody that wants the existing contract unless you're. I don't know if you can.
And his value is not high right now.
Send his ass to Carolina.
I agree.
Panthers. He looks like a Panther right about now in this stage of his career. Go play for the Panthers, Bradbury. Take a hike. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. See ya.
We'll see what happens. Like I said, I don't think anybody's going to be too sad about that one. But going back into baseball now, we have the Rangers game 2 tonight. Taijuan Walker on the mound, and they did switch it up for the expected pitcher for the Rangers. So Dane Dunning's coming back. He hasn't pitched since early May because of rotator cuff injury. So this is his first time back. Could really play in the Phillies.
This is
Phillies
heavy, Uncle Heavy spot to just slam the Phillies on the money line. Currently minus 122. Guy coming back from a little rehab.
Yeah, Sam, I think you put
short start.
You put appropriate emphasis on how many times have we seen a pitcher that's like, all right, he's making his first start since rotator cuff or whatever. He goes out there and he's not fully healed and he's still not fully feeling it. And you jump on him early and that's the game. On the other hand, Taijuan Walker is also back out there and his end results have been, I know he left his last start after he got hit in the foot, but the previous 2 starts to that
foot job, the
end results were good. He worked out of a lot of trouble in those games. I mean, the stuff didn't look great. So I'd be a little bit worried about him tonight because the Rangers did seem like they were ready to come out of their shell. But I'll be curious to see tonight.
Yeah, so it could be a trap game on the betting end from what you're saying.
No trap game.
Roll them. Take the over is what my advice.
Roll them up and smoke them. Let's go.
Take the over.
I like the over.
How about this? This shows you a lot. Over under. What do you think it is, John? Do you know?
11.5.
Actually, very close. 10. That's high. I mean,
I was
typically
gonna say 8.5.
About 8.5 for an over under.
So over under 10. Take the over.
Take the over tonight. Walker's going to give up some runs. That dude's going to give up some runs. I think
it's a short enough price, minus 122 in the Phillies. You just keep it simple here and just go ride Phillies win.
I don't like to keep it simple when doing profit boosts. Currently on Friday, but I like boom tonight too to get a home run.
Yeah,
home run. Homer.
Boom. What's Boom's odds? Let's get him in there. Let's get the Booms. Booms plus 510.
Oh, that's a good one.
Heavy odds.
Looks like he hit a lot of home runs. He gets a lot of hits. He's got 44 RBIs.
Yeah, he's actually tied for
leading. Machine in that
people.
situation with men on base. He is a machine right now.
Jose Ramirez is the guy at the top with him from the Guardians, and they're tied for leading the league, 44 RBIs right now. Insane, and he just is so calm, and he's been one of the stories this season as well. You just you expected the growth because we've been seeing it up to this point. But nobody, I think, expected his defense to look as good, but then especially not at the plate. He just looks confident every single time. He just knows how to get the bat on the ball and just place it where people aren't. And that's a a specialty that not a lot of people appreciate.
Yeah, he looks like he belongs with the stars of this team.
Yeah.
You said confidence. I was thinking the same word. When he's out there, he looks like he's one of the stars of this team because he is, right? Like he keeps this going up. He's going to be an all-star. This is one of these moments we're seeing it with Ranger Suarez. And we're seeing it with Alec Boehm. They're taking the step from being like, Alec Boehm's been a pretty good player to like, wow, he's an all-star. Ranger Suarez may win the Cy Young Award this year. And we could have taken it at plus 5,000 and Maniac Boy said, don't.
I said, don't do it.
Don't do it. Bad bet.
I told you to do it.
I know you did. I'm kidding.
I think you actually really did.
I put us all
I was like
onto it.
on Nola.
Don't lie. Don't lie. I
Yeah.
put
You
you
did
on.
20 plus 2,500.
If you've been a fan of the show since, if you're a real one from day one,
Day one people out there.
Yep.
they know. They know.
Insane. Looking around the rest of the MLB, like I said, there are 3 walk-offs last night, which is a lot. So you had the Astros heating up. I said that they've won 10 out of last 13. They won on a walk-off. You had the Braves losing on a walk-off. You had the Pirates winning on a walk-off. So really, really weird night for that. And they were always obviously late games because most of them went into extras. But that's fun.
Should we go with a fade angle now tonight?
Fade it
Ooh,
after the big walk-off.
So we need a parlay of Houston Astros and actually give me the Cubs to win another one against the Braves tonight.
Oh, I don't think that's happening.
Cubs. I want Cubs money line and I want the Astros to lose to whoever they're playing.
I have a question. Do you not even look up like probable pitchers or anything? You're just like straight off of vibes when you're placing these bets?
Sometimes.
I at least have to look at probable pitchers.
Hey,
That'd probably be smarter to do that. But yeah.
let me give you
Max Fried for the Braves. They're
Justin Steele for the Cubs. Cubs are at a plus 123, I think, something like that. They're a short price, but they're getting a little bit of juice.
Yeah, Pat's just merely looking at lines, which is what I do as well. Like sometimes the probable pitcher will actually throw you off the correct scent.
yeah,
But
true.
yeah, I usually like all the information before I.
You're right. Plus 123.
Well, I'll give you one. I'm starting to believe the Phillies are going to win the World Series. They're going to beat the Dodgers. They're going to get to the World Series against the Yankees, and they're going to win it all. That's what's going to happen
Against the Yankees
this season. And one of the reasons why is how you say vibes, or how far is this team going to be? Is this going to be one of the greatest Phillies teams of all time? You got to think, when we signed Bryce Harper, how many years ago was that now? 5 years ago?
5.
Mm-hmm.
Is it 6? Was it 2018?
Yeah, it was 2018. So
when
would
you
this
get
technically-
Bryce Harper, you're
Okay.
banking on a World Series or 2, right? When you get Bryce Harper, he's bound to win 1 at least, 2 very likely.
Well, that's the plan.
And that I know that makes that's just a random thing to just throw out there, but I think this is going to be one of those years where they win one.
This is a great question because
Awesome.
Bryce obviously deserves one. He's one of the best players to ever play the game. But so who are some?
He's got a lot to do with why the team is set up.
Oh,
the way it
100%.
is.
for sure. No,
With
for
the-
100%.
with the guys around him that want to play with him and play
He's
the
the
right
engine,
way that
brother.
he wants
Yeah,
everybody
he
to play.
is.
But he's handpicking these guys too.
He's assistant GM.
He is.
Yeah.
He's got something to do with it.
Well, I even remember
He's bound to win one. Why not right now? Let's go. Plus 800.
when they brought him in,
Bet
it was
Parx app.
between him and Manny Machado they were in for as well. And one of the biggest things about it was the fact that Manny was that lazy player. He wouldn't run through first base in the middle of July and all that. And Bryce, that's what they said they liked about it. He was a leader. He was pushing in early April and all that stuff. So it doesn't shock me that he's like that. But that's a good question. Who are some of the biggest names in baseball that never won a World Series?
In baseball, it's so different
Jay
because
Buhner.
stop. Like in football, for instance, if I say Dan
Mike
Marino,
Trout.
some people may say oh, he never won great passer. I think never won a Super Bowl. With quarterbacks in football, if they don't win a Super Bowl, you think differently of them, right? It's not like that in baseball. Tony Gwynn was one of the best hitters ever, and he never came close to winning a World Series. But so many great players that fell short because they played for crappy teams. But I mean, when you sign Bryce Harper, you're signing Bryce Harper to win a World Series. But it doesn't necessarily mean it needs to work out that way. How many big time free agent signings have teams had to where they're traded 4 years later? They never end up winning anything. They're disappointed with the signing. It doesn't work out. That signing, not only has it worked out, Could it be better other than winning a World Series? I don't think it could. The dude has taken the town over. He's the number one athlete in town. He knows how to handle Philly. He's great with the fans. There's this connection with the town and the team and Bryce. That's because of Bryce. Bryce leads by example, right? When you look at the team that won a World Series, I love Jimmy, but Jimmy, had his own personality. Right? They all had their own personality. These guys, it's like a glove with this city. And that starts with Bryce Harper. It really does.
Some other important Major League Baseball players that have never won a World Series. Let's go with Barry Bonds, Ken Griffey Jr., Jeff Bagwell, Jim Thome, Mike Piazza.
Great players.
Larry Walker, and how about these two old timers?
Mike Lieberthal.
Ty Cobb and Ted Williams. And not to forget, Carl Yastrzemski.
Oh, man.
Shrimp Scampi.
Good.
Carl Shrimp Scampi.
Honestly, Boston lost their baseball identity when they started winning. Now they hate the team. I'm serious too. Like they didn't know what to do once they became winners. So
screw them.
That's a good list though.
Yeah, but you forget Barry Bonds was in that one World Series.
Fun fact. Barry Bonds just inducted into the Pittsburgh Pirates Hall of Fame over the weekend with none other than the Jim Smoke a Cig in the dugout. Leland. High up on
that is
list.
fun.
What a time back in the day, baseball.
What's Jim Leland's nickname? He's got to have one.
Lee, probably. It's probably not exciting, right?
It's got
probably not exciting.
Heater.
Probably not cool.
If he was smoking cigs, I don't know.
Heater.
Yeah, Heater.
That'd be a good dog name, actually. Yeah. That'd be a great dog name.
You guys,
Come here, Heater. Leland.
Dag.
Teammates called him Hump because of his love of music by Engelbert Humperdinck. Leland once said that if he hadn't had a career in baseball, he would have liked to have been in a band. 15 Bob Herzl.
I'm sure that would have been a great band too.
Yeah, well, that was not what I was.
Yeah, that's terrible. They shouldn't even have that list.
Humpy. I used to play softball with a guy named Bump. He was a weirdest
Was he a hunchback
dude
or
ever.
Something?
Kind of. He was like a short little fat dude, and he was.
Well, that's so rude. I was joking.
And he could pitch a little bit. He couldn't hit at all.
You like to give his full name so
we called him. We called him Bump.
Oh,
Bump. That was good. Like it was good. We just had this. We had a team of just dudes that were just mash, but we didn't have a good pitcher, so we had to find a guy that was like into it as much as we were. Yo, dude, can you come?
And
you
found
we don't give a shit
Bump.
if you can't hit. And he was like a little dude with glasses. He was like a small little dude. And it was unlimited. It was unlimited arc.
Poor Bump.
It was unlimited arc. So if you could get a guy that could bomb it to the sky, in unlimited, that's actually important. The pitching matters then in softball.
I think I would actually be good at that. I'm really good
unlimited.
At like the underhand.
Listen,
no matter how high
I'm
I throw
up for
it
any
goes where I want
physical
it.
challenges whenever.
Oh yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Okay.
Let's do a physical challenge.
Yeah, because we have to
softball.
John, we might pull you in
maybe
for
a little infield outfield drill.
And we have the Olympics coming up. We want to do some challenges with that.
Javelin throw.
That'll be fun.
Oh, I'm ready to pull a muscle for sure.
Yeah.
Guys, I tried javelin in high school and I was that person that was absolutely terrible. I hit myself in the back of the head every single time with the dang thing. I played softball. So then I was trying to throw it like a softball. I had a good arm in softball, not in javelin.
Yeah, it probably hurt your javelin throwing.
Yeah, it did.
Track was never my thing.
Yeah. They tried to make me into one, not it. But okay, let's move on to rapid fire. John, the Phillies are 13-3 since Trey Turner went on the IL. What happens? We talked about Cody Clements, but what happens if he comes back and the team's just not winning anymore?
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, nothing is what's going to happen. But, like sometimes bringing a player back and you're rolling and you bring a great player back and now he's pressing because he doesn't want to be, the person that's not coming up big in the lineup. Everything's working well right now. So when Trey Turner comes back, you almost hope that Edmundo Sosa's kind of struggling at the plate or Merrifield hasn't done anything or Cody Clements, because then it's like, oh, thank God Trey Turner's back. But he's going to come back and hopefully he can get back to the way he was playing before the injury and how he played the second half of last year.
And we also obviously talked about Cy Young. You got Wheeler at plus 200. You got Ranger at plus 400, but taking the odds out of it, who would be your pick, Zach Wheeler or Ranger?
I can't understand how anybody wouldn't say Ranger Suarez is the favorite and is going to win the National League Cy Young Award. He's got a head start. He's 9-0. His ERA, you said to start the show, Sam, that his ERA was lowered to 1 point something. I'm like, it was lowered. How does it get any lower? He's been unbelievable, and I just don't see him falling off that much. Yeah, I don't know if he's going to have a 1.3 ERA for the rest of the season, but you're looking at a 20-win pitcher right here, and we're only in the middle of May. You got 9 wins so far, so I'm taking Ranger Suarez. He's going to win the National League Cy Young.
I would absolutely love if the Phillies number 3 wins the National League Cy Young, because that is pretty good for this team. That's one thing we didn't mention earlier too. Back in 2019 is when the last time that we had guys finish 1 and 2 in the Cy Young, and that was Justin Verlander and Garrett Cole. And then and then 2000, you said it, Randy Johnson and Curt Schilling.
Yeah, it was
So
2002.
Yes.
2002. Yeah, Schilling had 23 wins, and Randy Johnson had 20 some wins as well. So yeah,
and those were both great teams that if they didn't win the World Series that year, they were pretty close. So that's a great sign for the Philadelphia Phillies.
Man, you have starting pitching like this, you're tough to beat. You really are. And the Phillies before, when they got into the playoffs, they were a tough draw for anybody just because of their starting pitching and the fact that they have veteran players. Now you look at the starting pitching, the way that Suarez is going, they're going to be difficult to beat by anybody.
And now it's time to go out of the Parx with John Marks. So they are going to wrap up this series with the Rangers in town, and then they head to Colorado with the Rockies this weekend.
Mile High State.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in Colorado, they stink this year. So if you want to kind of hold your money and say, all right, what should I focus on this weekend? Why not just pick any Philly to hit home runs? Right? The whole weekend. The whole weekend. Is Bryce not going to hit a home run this weekend? He's going to hit a home run. Boomer, who we said earlier, you might get the nicer odds with Boom. Boom.
Forbes, Castellanos.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's going to break out of the slump at some point.
Brandon
right?
Marshy's always a good pick.
Brandon Marsh.
Yeah, so if you're looking to get value out of one of these bets, and you're like, all right, I'm not going to go Bryce or Schwarber hasn't been knocking the cover off the ball as far as home runs, right? It's almost June.
Yeah. That's when it happens.
Schwoon, I like to call it.
Schwoon.
Get it? Like your schwoon. He gets it. Okay. Maniac, tell him about the 25% live profit boost we do.
All right. 25% live profit boost all day today on the Parx app. Live baseball betting. It doesn't get much better than this. There's nothing I like more than a little day baseball when you're supposed to be working, but you're watching baseball, and then make it even better. You're betting on it. You're using a 25% live profit boost.
Are you encouraging them to drink at work as well?
Sure. Why not? If you're working from home, who says one soda or two isn't, against the law?
Right.
It's not against the law.
Just don't drive.
Yeah,
that's fine.
And if you're working from home, you're not.
Yeah, I don't know.
So there you go. Get your work done, and there you go. And the happy hour Fridays.
Man, last week was the closest we've been in some time, John.
Missed by a strikeout.
We missed by a strikeout.
Yeah, we had Zach Wheeler over on strikeouts and the Phillies winning, and Wheeler even went back out for the
Phillies minus 1.5. I had Phillies minus 1.5. It was your fault because you gave that. You picked that line, so you screwed it up.
I did.
I took Phillies minus 1.5. I said that was a lock of the season.
So here's the deal: we go live on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and everything. Yeah, right around 4:30, and we discuss what we're going to do, and we talk about some other stuff as well. So look for us. Parx YouTube, all the socials, same with mine.
Get in the lab, Mark. Get in the lab and pick up the slack.
Yes. And Uncle Heavy didn't have a good race. We were talking to a lot of
hopefully people didn't follow us Friday night and then go double down on Uncle Heavy because you might be getting your knees broken.
However, we will get a good profit boost for happy hour, and we will win. Maniac Boy's guaranteeing, or he's gonna reimburse you. We don't win. All right, maybe not. But we're going to get it this Friday, so check it out Friday. Yes, we're going to
this Friday.
Okay, I'm rooting for you guys. And
I'm not reimbursing anyone.
Nobody. I'm just
get it clear. But thanks for tuning in to episode number 8 of Out of the Parx with John Marks. We will be back next week, and the Phillies are out west still, so it'll be a midday game for us, 3:45. So we might be a little earlier next week. But...
See ya. Okay.
Do it free.